All right, thank you, Elena. As we get ready for our panel discussion, and before I welcome my colleagues back, a reminder to all of you that you can still ask questions. We will try to respond to as many as possible. If we don't, we will actually reply in writing and publish these answers after the event. I see that we have already quite a few questions that have come in, questions related to procedural matters as well as strategic matters, so I think it will be a good panel. One of the questions is what exact procurements will be announced in the nearest future. So we heard bits of it already in the previous presentations from the national implementing bodies. Martin Blaus did a strategic overview of what is to be expected in the next year. And anyways, I want to remind you that all our procurements are visible on the Rail Baltica website. And now I welcome my colleagues on the stage who have already arrived in an unorganized manner. So welcome back Christian, Aiga, Martin, Elena, and also joining us on Zoom, Jean-Marc Bedmar, our Head of Systems and Operations Departments. Jean-Marc, can you hear us?
Yes, very well. Hello, good afternoon.
All right, I hope that the audience hears Jean-Marc well. We don't hear him very well from here, but all right. So first, warm-up question, how do you all feel closing this third edition of the Rail Baltica Industry Day?
Great.
Feels like anniversary.
Yeah.
3 years anniversary.
Yeah, I would say great. It's great to be here and to have so many suppliers tune in. This is always very useful for us as well.
All right, great to be here. You feel great. The project is a great project, and the weather is okay as well. All right. So let's get started. As I said, some of the questions are procedural and easy to answer. For instance, we got this actually twice. Is it possible to see who wins the tenders? Aiga?
Yes, of course. This is publicly available information, so you can find this information both in our website, railbaltica.org, under respective tender. Also, as I mentioned in my presentation, in our Latvian e-tendering system, you can see all ongoing procurements and also the archive. And in the archive, you can see to whom this procurement has been awarded. And also, the third option is Latvian Procurement Monitoring Bureau website, where you see all publications. All the ones which are above EU threshold goes also to TED publication website. Therefore, there are at least 4 or 5 places you can find this information by choosing RB Rail as a search.
All right.
If I may add on this, but
yes.
If there is such interest from the market to have this overview of the signed contracts, most probably on such inquiry we can post this on our webpage as well, so to be more transparent.
Great idea. I think it is of interest because it also relates to other questions we have, for instance, for companies who are interested in subcontracting opportunities. Maybe you can comment on this. For one of the most popular questions currently is your recommendations how material suppliers should reach main contractors with proposed production. Email writing for tender winners doesn't work. Other creative ideas?
Maybe if I start with the discussion and my colleagues can add in. This is one of the things that we understand is challenging. We've seen a lot of market feedback on this actually. It's not just about supplies as such, I think it's about also a partnership between local and international contractors. And this is where the challenge for a contracting authority is that we are not able to affect the market. We cannot interfere with pointing out particular contractors to be approached, as we have to be impartial. But what helps here is the transparency that we provide, which was mentioned earlier, that we publish information on our website and on national e-tendering websites, where it is possible to see what are overall requirements that we have, the packages, what is the documentation that we publish, and also the companies that qualify and win tenders. So this helps to understand what our supplier base is and find the partners. We understand the challenge that exists for international partners potentially finding local subcontractors here, and this can be challenging. So we understand the challenge, and we're continuously trying to find better ways how to facilitate that. But there is also only so much that we can do before we can be classified as interference, which we cannot be encouraging that territory really. But perhaps if my colleagues want to add.
Yeah, well, the information most probably is the key, which companies to approach for materials. That's very important to as well then to seek the information about the contracts they have signed, the technical specification, what are their responsibility of, and what they're responsible for, which works and which sort of materials are required there. So this most probably as well involves a little bit effort from the suppliers where they wish to become subcontractors. They should most probably study a little bit information that we have provided already. So, but the idea of combining somewhere single source this information was probably something that we'll think about it.
All right, so a question related potentially to subcontracting opportunities, but primarily I wanted to ask this also because it was one of the key interests that was mentioned quite a few times upon registration, is updates about the CCS and a contract. So I think this question is twofold. From the one side, I would like to have maybe Jean-Marc speak a bit also from a content point of view, and from a procurement side, Aiga could maybe also present what the next steps are.
If I may start, and then Jean-Marc can supplement. Regarding the procurement, I think in several presentations you have already heard, Thierry was presenting, Martin was presenting where we stand. But to remind, so both of these procurements are ongoing. For energy subsystem, we have, I would say, quite in mature place of second stage of the procurement. So we are looking forward to receive the proposals at the very beginning of next year. So it means in mid or Q3 of 2024, we will sign the contract for the electrification of whole Rail Baltica line. With regards to CCS as well, this procurement is ongoing. We are preparing the second stage to be launched. This should happen this year still, so we can make this happen and contract to be signed by end of next year.
Thank you. Jean-Marc?
Yes, maybe I can just add that this contract, these two procurements for electrification and for CCS are one unique procurement on covering the three stage. The three states, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. So that's basically the unique procurement for electrification and the unique procurement for control command signaling that are going to happen on Rail Baltica. So that's very important to keep in mind, because this is exactly targeted to ensure the unicity of the railway systems among the three states.
All right, thank you. Next question goes to Elina. Companies that are interested in these chances to start participate or continue participate in tenders, and they see some potential like directions where that would suit their companies, how can they make this known that they are interested? Is there an early application to notify that they would like to participate in market consultations or something? What is the procedure?
It depends, of course, at what stage is the procurement. Is it announced, or is it like pre-stage, like you mentioned, the Linda market consultations? If these are publicly announced market consultations, then this all information, of course, is mentioned in the website. Usually it's by sending an email application to the exact person and appointing one or several representatives from the company. But of course also prior market consultations, it is possible to let's say send an email, and we were anyways send it to the communication team or someone who is planning the whole process of the procurements.
If I may add, I think our newsletter is also one of the items which is important for the information for the suppliers to receive, and maybe if it is a market consultation, we actually are issuing this in our newsletter so they can see that it's their possibility to engage with us before the procurement actually is announced. So please subscribe.
And if I may add on this on top, once the procurement plan is published and you see that there is a plan of having such procurement somewhere over the year, and you found this information at the beginning of the year, you can and you should as well send your company information to railbaltica.org, procurement at railbaltica.org, so that we can list you already if there will be market consultations taking place, that you will be introduced of such an opportunity, definitely.
Very comprehensive response, thank you. Next question goes to Christian, and I think you'll like it. So, what indexing clauses, fuel, energy, steel, concrete, labor cost, etc., have you implemented into your materials supply or works contracts? So, I think we have to contextualize this question, maybe not so specifically, but indexation is something that we should include. However, processes are quite lengthy to implement, so maybe you can comment rather on why are changes to strategic and contractual approaches coming so slowly?
Okay, so let's tackle both of these topics. So first of all, I will not maybe go into too much specifics on one particular item, as we have different solutions depending on the type of contract and whether it's materials contracts, which Martin can perhaps elaborate on more precisely how we take into account in the indexation all the various different input cost items. But looking at the indexation topic overall, this is where what I mentioned also in my presentation, what is really important is the feedback from the market and the collaboration on a general level, first of all, to understand the concerns that are out there. And there is no one best solution for indexation. The question is simply how much risk is still open once you have indexation applied. So can we find the most optimum solution for a particular contract? And here we are very much open actually to any suggestions. We have a range of solutions that we have applied, and we have other solutions that we are thinking of. But if any suppliers, partners out there have some solutions that they have applied or they have seen or experienced that work really well, we're open to see them. So feel free to get in touch, and I'm more than happy to have a conversation in depth about that. Now, the indexation mechanisms overall, they have to consider specifics of the contract and what are the input costs and variables. Is it steel? Is it labor? Is it concrete? Is it something else? And how we then address that. So it's a proportion and it's a risk that we have to address. And this we're doing to various degrees in different contracts in different countries together with the implementing bodies as well. When we're thinking about solutions and contracting strategy approaches and why they're coming slowly, as it was mentioned in the question, yes, the project is really big. And there is a prevalent practice that exists in the Baltic countries already before this project. And as the project grows, also people learn, people grow, decision makers are more open to the specifics of the project delivery, and we find out better ways of doing things. What we have to keep in mind is that this is one of a kind project that hasn't existed, or such kind of a project hasn't been delivered in the Baltic countries before. So obviously there is no kind of background knowledge to how best to deliver that. And as we deliver the project, we seek out the best experts from within the Baltic countries and also from elsewhere outside the Baltics, bring them together, talk to the market, talk to our peers, other projects elsewhere in Europe. We find better ways of doing things, but all this takes time and effort and decision making. And of course, project develops while we're doing that. So there's a natural evolution question that is behind that, how these kind of projects develop. But overall, I would say that considering the challenges that we're facing and that the Baltic countries are delivering something like this first time, it is actually going in quite a good pace, pretty fast, and we are now applying strategies that perhaps without all the challenges that we see on the market and looking back a few years ago would not have been conceivable here. So I think we're doing a really good job in that sense. But perhaps if my colleagues want to comment on the indexation or anything.
Just briefly, negotiations usually are subject of indexation is subject of negotiations. And this is where actually we meet with the suppliers in the procurement phase and we discuss. We discussed which would be the most preferable way, because the markets, from one, for instance, consolidated material to another, there's totally different aspects of and indexes themselves. Therefore, it's subject of negotiations, discussions with the market to come up with a solution which fits the most. But there is no perfect indexation formula yet, as far as we have not established, because there are, as Christian said, risks which you can control and which you can risks which you should ensure one or another way.
Now that we touch upon the subject of construction materials, so Rail, the Rail Baltica joint venture, is procuring a certain number of construction materials in a consolidated manner. It means for the whole project. So maybe Martin, you can comment on the stage of these. And also I have a question from Valeris, a practical one, as he says, being a certified welded structural steel manufacturing company in Latvia with relevant experience, who shall we approach to qualify and deliver? So I think it would be then in a subcontracting also capacity, or maybe can you comment?
Well, these are kind of two different topics. First
Very
of all,
good. Answer both.
Okay. About the consolidated materials, of course. The stage is very close to finalization of the procurement. So all of these materials, as I listed in my presentation, 5 of them, they are in negotiation phase. So basically, one or another sooner or another later, we're closing down the negotiations. We have put a lot of effort into discussion with the suppliers, aligning contractual conditions, indexation itself as well, and finally, for most of them, we are ready to ask manufacturers to submit their final bids And based on that, we make a decision. Therefore, we expect, as in my presentation was shown, it is beginning of the next year, we would sign most of them. So one can come in as well already sooner than that, end of this year. Second question about opportunities of welded steel.
Yes, local welding experts.
Okay, most probably at this point we have no opening for such procurement as to become as a general contractor for such works. Nobody knows. Of course, in future they can be any such opportunities. But most probably Christian would take this question since you deal more with the market.
I think from a maybe strategic point of view of how to approach and I understand the practicality of the question, how to be involved. We provide opportunity for supplier meetings to interested parties. Simply get in touch with us, please, and express the opportunity. And of course, we have limited resource, but we're trying to, within reason, provide these options as much as we can. But for such particular type of works, the question is subcontracting. And here the approach, I guess, will be to find out who the main contractors are. With different kind of steel beams and steel elements, how to weld them, and where to become involved, either be it structures, civil works, construction, be it station construction, something else that where such kind of speciality might be needed. There, the question first and foremost will be, who are the main contractors? So I would expect that also the local welding companies, they have a good understanding who the main contractors are, generally for infrastructure works, and it pretty much works along the same path, really, to find a way how to provide an offer of value to the potential subcontractors who come and participate in our tenders, and that will be the path to success in participation in Rail Baltica, as most likely we will not have bigger packages for welding as such provided.
All right, next question is addressed to Jean-Marc. Well, I address it to you, Jean-Marc, as it relates to the operational questions. So probably we don't have an answer yet, but I think you can comment. It's Julia asking, what kind of ticketing system will be there? Will there be an option to purchase tickets quickly and conveniently?
Yes, I think this is a must. This is a must for Rail Baltica project to have such a system. So for now, the ticketing system is still in definition. We are mostly focusing on all the technical aspects for the procurement, and that will be included in CCS scope. Yeah. But regarding the overall policy to be applied for the acquisition of the ticketing for the passenger, let's say, experience to travel and to buy the ticket. So there are still different functionality that are under discussion between the three states. But I think one thing is sure, everybody understands that if we want the success of Rail Baltica, if we want to have a maximum passenger using our trains, we should have a seamless solutions for the passenger to travel in Rail Baltica between high-speed night trains and regional trains, but also with the other trains in the Baltic. So this, we are strongly working on this as well.
Thank you. So I would say the final question goes to Elina. So you presented this very engaging way how to involve suppliers from an early stage. However, we still get these questions, how can I get involved? So we heard that first you have to manifest your interest yourself. But I think that it's not always the case that there is such a consultation phase. So can you comment, is there always a consultation phase, or in what cases there is one and when there is none?
Okay, so no, it is not mandatory to conclude these market consultations. Actually, it is up to the Procurement Commission to decide this. And usually, market consultations are held if it can help to develop the documentation in better quality, if there are still critical questions that need to be answered, and of course, in the second case, if the Procurement Commission sees that the competition will not be so wide, so they use this chance to publish technical requirements and also qualification criteria, and allow for market suppliers to comment and provide feedback on such documentation. So no, yes, the answer is no, but however, market research will be in all cases, definitely. This is like separate things.
For that reason, if there is interest, it's always worthwhile to approach procurement department with interest, with the information, so that we at least we can identify, store, give a feedback, inform. Either there will be consultations, either not. So case by case.
Yeah.
I would like to actually raise a slightly different idea of approach, which is, I think, very useful in the longer term. So we have a unique project. It's one-of-a-kind project in the Baltics, which brings together international and local knowledge. We don't really have in the Baltics, in many cases, the specialist experts on particular high-speed topics, high-speed railway topics. So we have to get this knowledge from elsewhere. We have international companies that have wonderful expertise, but they don't have the local knowledge. So this provides this, this mix of partnerships, different types of partnerships that evolve and take place. But to get to that place, to get to these partnerships, to form a team to come and participate in our tenders and become our contracting partner, companies don't have to wait, especially local companies. They don't have to wait if they see that there is an opportunity, but they maybe don't meet the requirements or they don't have all the expertise. They can also have some initiative to go and find international partners. And same with the subcontractors. You don't have to wait until the main contractors find you. I think it needs to work both ways here. And this project provides such a wonderful opportunity for regional companies to learn and grow. And a few years from now, to have grown and nurtured the expertise so that also the market widens for them. So on the back of this project, it's possible to also build the knowledge for future to export for other projects beyond this region. So I would really also call upon all the supplier market to show initiative, be proactive and learn. I think in some cases learning for the future opportunities is maybe even more rewarding than getting that one contract.
I think it's a great final message. So the exercise is actually twofold, or the effort has to come from both sides, like in every relationship. So on the one hand, suppliers have to be active and show initiative, and on the other hand, we as the project have to make sure that information is more accessible and more transparent. I think with this we can close this panel. I thank you all for your contributions. Thank you, Jean-Marc, for joining us also online.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.